Good evening, everyone. The time is now 7:09 p.m. I'd like to call the March 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting to order. Ms. Capone, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Eastman,
Yes.
Jablisco, Miles,
Yes.
Mojica,
Here.
Montestioka, Newberry,
Here.
Parsons absent, Brooks.
Here. Please stand for the flag. Salute, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Brown, can you please read the invocation?
Council President, heads bowed. Lord, external God, we are about to begin our meeting, and we do so with the awareness that without your divine presence here at the center of our meeting and also within ourselves, our work will be empty. Grace us with wisdom, vision, gift us with holy humor, humility, so that not only the meeting, but all of our lives may be a meeting place for our kingdom. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to say again that we bring us together. We've had the city addressed by our mayor last week and all of the good things that we have planned for our city. It takes wisdom and it also takes vision to do what's best for the city of Rahway. Amen.
Amen, amen. Ms. Capone, could you please read the open public meeting statement?
Notice of this meeting has been sent to the official newspapers, and adequate and electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act as required by law. I do have a quick announcement. I would like to inform the council and members of the public that the city's website is currently experiencing technical difficulties that are preventing document uploads. The appropriate support personnel were notified and were able to resolve the issue. We appreciate your patience and understanding and would like to inform you that the agenda packet was uploaded at 6:20 p.m.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Capone. May I have a motion and second to approve the February 2nd, 2026 regular meeting minutes, as well as the February 2nd, 2026 executive session minutes?
So moved.
I
Newberry?
second it.
Jablisco? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Eastman,
Yes.
Jablisco,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Mojica,
Yes.
Montestioka,
Yes.
Newberry,
Yes.
Parsons absent, Brooks.
Yes. Do we have any reports from our council committees?
No council committee reports.
Thank you. Ms. Capone, do we have any communications from our city offices or the bill payment list?
You have received the payment of bills, the police report, and fire report for the month of February.
Very good. Mayor, do you have any comments this evening?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council President, members of the council, and the residents of Rahway. This past month, I hope everyone enjoyed our Black History Month events. A couple of my favorite events were the Underground Experience at the Rec Center, and just this past weekend, the play Stick Fly. Before the Stick Fly show, we honored my friend and former teammate Sean McLean with the Chester Holmes Award. Sean has always been a strong leader, both on and off the football field, and as president of the NAACP Elizabeth branch, he continues that leadership by making a real positive impact in his community. He truly represents everything that the Chester Home Award stands for, and it was an honor to be there to present him with this award. To all my seniors, we are so happy that you enjoyed the BR Valentine meal delivery. We don't need the thanks, but we really do. It really is our pleasure, and we really do like putting smiles on our senior faces. So thank you, Council, for supporting that initiative, and thank you to the public as well. Thank you to everyone who attended this past Thursday State of the City address. It was an amazing night. It's truly an honor to always be able to highlight our great city and all the great things and the great people in our community. and it was truly extra special for me personally having my son introduce me. So it was an amazing night, and I want to thank City Council and all the residents who attended and staff as well. At last week's State of the City, I recommended this council cancel the receipt of bids for the sale of the war utility. I want to briefly reiterate that position here tonight and explain why it remains the right course of action for our city. That recommendation was made after continued conversations with members of council and with community stakeholders. It reflects a clear and simple principle. Decisions of this magnitude must not be rushed. They must be made with full public understanding and trust. Canceling the receipt of bids does not end the conversation. It creates the space that we need to continue the conversation, to fully understand the financial, operational, and long-term impacts, and to assure that residents have a full understanding of the challenges we face and the options available to us. My administration is committed to working collaboratively with the council and community leaders to examine every option carefully and transparently. I remain confident that by working together, openly, responsibly, and with the long-term interest of Rahway at the center, we will arrive to the best path forward for our city. This upcoming March is Women's History Month, and I want to take this opportunity to wish all of the women in the city of Rahway a happy Women's History Month. We have the Union County Women's Seminar coming up March 19th at 12:30 p.m. at the Union County College in Cranford. We have our Senior Art Show coming up this month. Also, the Senior Spring Fling Party, which our seniors love. And we have sensory-friendly Easter photos as well. I'd like to go back to Women's History Month and just really express, the importance I feel to honor and highlight the women, not only in this community, but throughout our country. The sacrifices they made and the commitment that they have had to pushing our city and our country forward should not go unnoticed. I am married to an extremely intelligent, powerful woman, and it is a pleasure every day to watch her operate and do the great things she does in this city, and many women and the things they do in this city. To our council members who are on our council, your moms, your wives, you have all these responsibilities, but yet you find time to serve our city, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you as well. That is all, Council President. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, huge shout out to our women, both of the city, our administration, our staff, and our council. Business Administrator Pukovich, are there any reports or updates from administration?
Council President, none at this time.
All right, thank you very much. And at this time, would you have, or would be able to provide a summary of our ordinances and resolutions that are listed on tonight's agenda?
Certainly. Thank you, Council President. First ordinance 0926 amends Chapter 141, Animals, Section 141-25, Community Cats. It allows the health officer who presented the presentation at the health meeting prior to this to approve the community cat caregivers. 01026 is an ordinance amending Chapter 401, Article 1, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 3, Violations and Penalties. This allows the municipal court to increase fees to be in line with municipalities that neighbor us. They're minimal fees, they're minimal increases, but it keeps us in line with the neighboring towns. 01126 is a bond ordinance providing for streetscape improvements. This is for the not Cherry Street project, for the Banner project. We are going to have poles inserted on the opposite ends of the street, and as you drive through towns, you see big banners that go across the street. This is what that's for, so we can do that here in the city. On to resolutions. Out of administration, AR 7226. This authorizes the municipal council to execute a memorandum of agreement between the city and OPEIU Local 32. That is our clerical union. We're happy to announce that we're able to come to an agreement on a contract with them. AR 7326, this is awarding a service contract to Comprehensive Medical Nutrition Solutions. They provide employee health consulting services. Pretty straightforward. Resolution authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the Township of Woodbridge for roadway improvements to Bromhall Road. You had seen this before you previously, but there was an error. This corrects that. We take care of our side of the road. Woodbridge takes care of theirs. AR 7526, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Merck and Company for the purchase of water We were able to settle on a contract with Merck for bulk purchase of water. The city retains them as a customer. That's a net positive for us. AR 7626, a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with Artisana Pottery LLC for the commission and installation of public artwork at Rahway Arts District Park. Councilman Mojica had came to us with a concept to do an art installation at Arts District Park involving tiles that honored the Latino community, and that will begin shortly. So thank you to Council Vice President Mojica for championing this. Out of the City Clerk's Department, we have a resolution recording the mayor's appointments to the Social Justice Commission. That will be Mr. Kenneth Walker. He's been on boards before, a great member of the community, very active, and Peter Cole, not the gentleman that owns the bar, his son. AR 7826, a resolution appointing an alternate member to the Environmental Commission. That is going to be Mr. Tim Mantes, who also serves on our zoning board. Public Works, we have AR 7926, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a new Western Star 49X roll-off chassis off of a state contract. It is the big dump trucks, you see them hauling snow in. This will allow us to do that on our own at a greater capacity without having to rent from a private third vendor. In Revenue and Finance, it's all housekeeping, a resolution adopting a temporary capital budget, a resolution approving a professional service contract to Archer and Griner PC for the provision of 2026 bond counsel services. We do that every year. Resolution authorizing budget transfers, 2025 appropriation reserves. Again, straightforward. This is housekeeping. And then onto the Recreation Department. This, they're going to accept a municipal alliance grant. This is for drug prevention. We do this every year. It's administered by the county. Again, something we do annually. Out of Engineering and Land Use, we have a resolution awarding the acceptance of a bid for the Banner Pole project that I referenced previously. This will go to the Whirl Corporation. AR 8526, resolution authorizing the release of a performance bond and the acceptance of a maintenance bond for ABC Billing Management for New Brunswick Ave project. That's just housekeeping. AR 8626, resolution executing an amendment to the contract with Ingenuity for engineering services for the City of Rahway Wayfinding Signage Program. As you're aware, Ingenuity is the firm that we've engaged to do this. You'll start to see some of these signs going in the ground in early spring. AR 8726 is a resolution authorizing the execution of an amendment to a contract between the City of Rahway and Ingenuity Infrastructure for professional engineering services associated with Phase 3 of our water quality assurance. It's where we were replacing lead lines that were going from the main into residential homes. AR 8826 is a resolution authorizing final payment and closeout, change order, and release of performance bond and acceptance of maintenance bond to D. Avellino Construction project entitled Tully Field Pickleball Improvements. Self-explanatory, this is just closing out the Tully Field project that recently finished. 8926, resolution for authorizing a rebid for the project entitled Hamilton Stage Flood Hardening Project. As you know, it was hit hard one of the previous storms with flooding. This just works to make the building more resilient to climate change and help our mitigate flood damage should that happen in that area again. Onto code enforcement, we have AR 9026, resolution authorizing the extension of a shared service agreement with Fanwood and us for a construction code official, building subcode official, and a fire protection subcode official. Again, the state emphasizes and encourages municipalities to work together. This is us doing that, and it also brings revenue into the city. We have the Health Department, AR 9126, resolution authorizing agreement with the City of Elizabeth to provide sexually transmitted disease clinic services in accordance with public health practice standards. Again, something we do annually. We're just reading that up for 2026. Out of administration, we have a resolution authorizing the cancellation of receipt of bids for the sale of the City of Rahway water utility. That's the mayor prefaced that, and that's pretty self-explanatory. AR 9326, resolution authorizing the mayor and municipal clerk to enter into a shared service agreement with the Rahway Public Library. As you're aware, Mayor Giacobbe had committed to partnering with the library, and this is reading up the shared service agreement that we established several years ago. And we're just going to continue that relationship. We're very happy with the partnership, and it's borne considerable fruit. Then we have AR 9426, a resolution in the City of Rahway to execute the ground lease with Esterbrook Senior LLC and other relevant documents for the affordable housing project located on part of Block 151, lots 20, 21, 22, 23, and a portion of Lot 7 that is on Esterbrook Avenue across from the Myers Senior Residences. Mr. Landolfi can provide some further context on this one. We're really excited that this is being presented before council today.
So, Council, really what that does is just authorizes the execution of various sets of documents that were required for the final HMFA mortgage financing that's scheduled for Thursday. And once that's completed, groundbreaking should take place within the next 30 to 60 days, depending on weather. So we're really happy about where that project stands.
Thank you, Mr. Puckovich, for those detailed explanations, summaries on the ordinances and the resolutions. At this point, this will be the hearing of the citizens portion of the meeting. Citizens will have 5 minutes to speak on resolutions and first reading ordinance listed on the agenda only. Second reading ordinance will have their own public hearing. The floor is also open for public comment. You may only speak once, and you must address all comments to City Council. While all comments made by the public will be taken under advisement, the City Council will not respond to the comments made by the public at this portion, as this portion is an opportunity for the council to listen to you, the citizens, your concerns, and not debate issues or enter to a question and answer session. Ms. Capone, has anybody signed up to speak?
Ronald McCray, 840 East Hazelwood Avenue.
Good evening. I'm just going to make this brief, and I'm going to address. I'm not here to attack anybody on, whatever to make myself to look good, but I'm here to address what you failed to do as elected officials. And I'm going to make this quick because, again, I'm going to start this way. I asked if there was a law stating that it's only 5 minutes, but you never addressed that. So don't ever say you are here to address and try to get back to the public in reference to that. Councilman in that first ward read something last meeting that I was here, which told her he was out of order in reference to his information because Councilman Brown and I already addressed those issues long before, so he was totally off course. And the only thing I could say is that he needed to go back and address his own ignorance and apologize to it. Councilman Mahiga, back in 2022, in August, when I was here addressing about my water issue, you said you were going to help me. October came, you never say anything. So when you sit there and talk about it takes time to do something, I'd like to know what time we're talking about. Councilman Brooks, and back in December, a young lady came up here and addressed and talked about her electricity, and you said we're going to reach out and we'll try to do what we can. Yet each and every time I come here about my water bill, nobody ever said anything. You never addressed anything. So don't sit there and talk about what you're going to do. You comment and commend each one of you for doing, but you fail to uphold your responsibility. No matter how you look at it, you pledge allegiance to the flag, liberty and justice. You fail that and you violate that. Okay, no matter how you look at it. If I'm not mistaken, when I said about the 5 minutes, the attorney said, well, everybody else, tell me about what everybody else is doing, but he never said if there's a rule or law. And I asked, where can I get a copy of that? You talk about resolutions, and I'm not going to tell you a whole list of things that you violated here as elected officials. One thing I will say with elected Councilwoman Miles when she indicated about speed bumps. We had addressed it, but I give her credit for raising it again. And yet you failed to address the issues on East Hazelwood Avenue. In July of last year, the mayor got off the bus with some kids at JFK. But did he ever say, and I stand correct, did he ever say good morning, hello, how you doing to those who was at the food distribution who cannot cross the street? You see, and traffic is speeding and has increased each and every day. So when Councilman, the first ward councilor, I know he didn't do his homework because he had been over there. And none of you have sat down with Councilman Brown to go back in history to find out how can we support you in your ward. Not one. Okay, so that's important. You see, I asked and brought to your attention about crossing guards for those people and everybody else. We're talking about public safety, but you haven't done it. So don't sit here and talk about you want to commend each other for doing a great job. It's a bunch of bull. It's the exact same thing with the MLK Park. I have a resolution right there by the city. Assembly Kennedy was council member, but yet and still you done what you want to do to go and change something on MLK, but you never said and changed anything else on no other park. When I asked about one of the marks on the resolution in reference to the veterans, you didn't have a clue about it. And yet the attorney says, and I stand corrected, well, we're not at liberty to talk about it. But you voted on something that you had no clue. You see, so when I found out, I was entitled to a lot of those benefits. See, this is the issues here. Let's be honest. Be honest to yourself, to your heart. Don't pledge allegiance to the flag and take an oath, if you're not going to stand on what you truly believe. That's what's important. Just like these firemen. I give them credit. A member of my family was a fireman who lost his life in it. I had members in the police department. I commend and respect everybody. But I'd be daggone if you're going to sit here and think you're going to
1 minute warning.
Because I am not here to be embarrassed, okay? I'll sit down with anybody on any level and have a conversation with you. Because one of the things you won't do is to address something and make a statement or do something you can't back up. And these are facts. I said to Councilwoman Danny, go visit a VA. Have you ever done it? No. When Councilwoman Vinnie was there, I said I had 5 seconds to ask the attorney. She said no, but she allowed Mr. Garcia and others come right behind and spend 5 minutes and 10 minutes to speak. So my concern and what I'm addressing here, you totally disrespect me and disregard my concern each and every time, and that's what's important. So again, you violate your own oath and obligation each and every single time, no matter how you look at it, until you redeem your own self. When you go home, go to church, because I know every church which
5
you go
minutes.
to, no matter how you look at it, you need to go back and address yourself.
Council
and
President,
ask for
the speaker's
forgiveness.
time is elapsed.
So
I got
don't
it.
tell me I only got 5 minutes.
Thank you.
And I make a comment. No.
Thank you, sir.
I pay taxes here.
Everybody
I pay
pays.
taxes. I pay taxes on each and every person. See, you want
Mr.
to do
McCray,
what-
Mr. McCray,
you
you
want
have,
to do what the
sir.
council said. No, what are you going to do? Lock me up? No, you're not going to do it.
I'm not going to lock you
You're not
up,
gonna
sir,
do
but
it.
I will
You
ask you
do
to
it.
leave.
Do
I will
it.
ask you to leave.
I really need it. I want you to do
Sir,
this.
you have everyone's phone number here, okay? Our phone numbers are
But
public.
you don't answer.
Okay, no, you don't, that's not the truth. That's not the truth.
It is true.
You're out of, okay.
Because if you have.
All right, sir, help yourself out. Thank you. Have a good day.
No, you have a good
You have-
day.
I will have
And
a great day.
I guarantee you that I'm
Sir,
going to hold everybody accountable.
You, have a good night. Thank you so much.
Hand me that, man.
Have a good night. Have a good night.
Oh, see, but you're not going to call the rule, but you can't abide by the rules and regulations.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council?
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I am not
Let him
leaving.
stay, Jeff. Let him stay, Jeff.
He can stay. It's just as long as he doesn't interrupt. He's fine. So everyone gets 5 minutes, okay? Everybody. Someone from the right might address the podium?
You have Alan Levy
Okay,
at
my
254 Oak
apologies.
Street.
What's that?
Alan Levy at 254
Okay.
Oak Street.
Yeah, I got a little thrown off by that. My apologies. Mr. Levy.
Good evening. Alan Levy, 254 Oak Street. I want to address a matter which often gets misinterpreted, the Open Public Meetings Act. Now, I'm a lawyer, but I would never say to somebody, oh, I'm a lawyer, I know the law. Rather, let's talk about the law itself, assuming somebody's actually read it. Specifically, Section 10:4-12, Paragraph A, which states that any member of the public shall be allowed to attend the city council meeting and be provided the time to comment on any issue, quote, that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the municipality, unquote. The language in that statute is intentionally broad. It's almost like hippies wrote it. Whatever you feel is appropriate for the city, that's an appropriate topic to talk about. Now, On the other hand, City Council also has the right and responsibility to impose restrictions and rules on decorum to prevent disruptions and allow the business of a meeting to go forward. I direct you, if you saw my open letter to you, Councilman Brooks, to the decision of 2007 of Torres versus Borough of Pine Hall, where the New Jersey Supreme Court held that any guidelines to prevent disruption of meetings must be neutrally adopted, neutrally enforced, and limited to preventing only the actual disruption of the meeting. They cannot be used to silence a particular viewpoint, and they cannot be used to silence a particular individual who you don't like what they say. Now, you may not like the OPMA. It allows disgruntled citizens to come here every month and tell you suck for 5 minutes. And then when their 5 minutes are up, they sit down. That's the trade-off for the power obtained by members of the public. Now, we've seen in the past year where certain cities, like the city of Edison, humiliated itself on national TV for kicking out a guy for holding up an American flag because they wanted to ban props. And then we have the city of Plainfield that recently embarrassed itself by trying to ban singing, pantomiming, and nonverbal speech. The fact that the same law firm that represents the city of Rahway happens to represent the city of Edison and the city of Plainfield that are making directed efforts to silence people's speech is humiliating. It's embarrassing, and it should shock all of you. What they are trying to do is limit people's speech, and what happens is, I'm sure you've heard of the Streisand effect, that the more you try to ban people from singing, the more people will come to sing. And the way the Constitution works is, if I want to get up here and speak for 5 minutes about pay to play, I can do that. If I want to get up here and sing Gordon Lightfoot's Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald for 5 minutes, I could do that. And when you interrupt me, which is what you've done for the past 2 months, whenever I raised pay to play and Ramon Coughlin's exploitation of the system, then you're the ones who are disrupting the meeting by limiting the public comment time, period. Let people speak and don't rule them out of order because the Constitution doesn't allow it and the OPMA doesn't allow it. I get to say what I feel. The members of the public get to say what they feel. You got a problem with that? Change the statute. Talk to his partner, Mr. Coughlin. Now, at the last 2 meetings when I was interrupted because they didn't like what I was saying, remember, the Constitution allows me to say offensive things. For example, in 1971, the United States Supreme Court held that I could walk into a public courthouse with a giant shirt emblazoned, "Fuck the draft." That is a political statement, and it's protected by this free speech, and it's protected by the Constitution. Likewise, if I want to get up here, I'm going to say something offensive. Well, none of you are going to find this offensive.
1 minute warning.
Fuck Donald Trump. Now, did I just disrupt the meeting? Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's take this thought experiment one step further. Fuck Mayor Giacobbe. Good. Fuck Councilman Jeff Brooks. Nope, no disruption. Fuck Dave Mincello. I don't want to go too far. But you know what? I'm happy that you at least understand that's how freedom of speech works. And Mayor, you know, every month I ask you, are you okay with the fact that that law firm, representing your campaign manager, suing myself and my wife, 2 of your constituents, for daring to criticize you and the city government and the law firm? Are you okay with that? I didn't say you directed it. I'm saying, are you okay with it? You know who's not okay with it? And they just filed their amicus brief today? The ACLU.
5 minutes.
Took my side. Dave, tell your partners, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
For making me a free speech
Thank you,
advocate.
Mr. Levy.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you. I'm just going to remind everybody to please address the council when you do come here. Thank you so much. Anybody else, Ms. Capone?
No one else has signed up.
Okay. You may approach.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Lisa Ferraro, 97 West Cherry Street. I just wanted to thank the mayor. I was at the State of the City, and I want to thank him for rescinding this idea of, well, at least temporarily, of selling our water so that we have more time to think about it, so that you can get more information. I think this is, a very prudent thing. It's a really big decision, and I was shocked last time when it was like this rushing through, and I really wanted more time. And for me, my personal opinion is we should not do this, and I really hope that you take a big scope of ideas and listening to all different organizations before bringing it before the council again. And also, I really want to know if how much the public will be involved, because I think, it affects us, and we really need to know, and we really need to be informed so that we can express ourselves and be part of the decision. I think it's really important that we're part of the decision. The other thing, if I can switch to another topic, the new building going up on Esterbrook for seniors, I'm very excited about. I think it's great that we are supportive and really looking for ways to support seniors. My parents are disabled, and I'm one of their caregivers. And I'm constantly searching for housing for them. And it is really amazing how hard it is to secure housing. First of all, you have to get on the list. To get on the list, you have to wait because it's not open. Then when you get on the list, you have to wait for years. So I'm actually wondering, I hear that the groundbreaking will probably be in a month to 2 months. I'm wondering if we know when the project is slated to be finished, and also how somebody can get an application and sign up for that particular building. Thank you so much.
Thank you. To my left.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Marnay Palmer Chambliss, Plainfield, New Jersey, but as I always say, lifelong Rahway. So I want to say good evening to everybody. I too attended the State of the City address. I was very impressed with some of the initiatives that I saw coming from that address. I did notice that there is almost like a stay with the water decision. So like I told Mr. Landolfi, I'm not going to put my sign away yet. I'm going to keep it because that does not mean that it's a permanent decision. This afternoon I had the opportunity to participate in a wonderful roundtable discussion for Black History Month at the high school with the JAG. Mr. Brown was there, Marty Robinson was there, and a couple other prominent members of the Black communities there as we were pouring in to the students. And we were talking to them about the importance of not only signing up to vote, one of our topics, but the importance of actually exercising your vote and the things that voting allows for us to be able to experience. So I just want to say that in 1857, the Supreme Court made a decision in Dred Scott versus Sanford. Most of us just call that the Dred Scott decision. And actually, Dred Scott gets a lot of the credit, but his wife Harriet was right there with him. So it was really Dred Scott and Harriet. It ruled that African Americans, whether enslaved or free, were not U.S. citizens and had no rights to sue in federal court. It declared that the 1820 Mississippi Compromise, it didn't apply. So it bothers me when I see people that come from a heritage of having to fight for every right, and then when you get that right, having to fight to actually exercise it, stand before the people and carry that water for the patriarchy. It's embarrassing and it's sad. But I will give you credit for sitting there today allowing people to get their 5 minutes. Because what I saw the last time that I was here was very, very, very traumatizing. And I saw what I would consider nothing more than Stockholm Syndrome. I don't care how much power they give you that you feel as though you have. At the end of the day, you are still a product of the Dred Scott decision. If that's what they want to do to other people, let them do it. But those of you who look like me and we share the same heritage on those boats should not be carrying water for the patriarchy. If Mr. Mincello and his law firm want to do whatever they have to do to squash public talking the way they want it to be, you let him be the voice of that. He's the voice of that when we're in Plainfield. But yes, he is. But to the people who are black and brown, women on that panel, to sit there quietly while he takes away our rights that we fought for and are still fighting for, because our friend Donald Trump is trying to repeal everything that our people fought for, got dogs sucked on them, water hoses, lynched, you name it. It happened for us to be able to have these rights. Please don't carry that water for the patriarchy. Thank you.
Thank you. To my right. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Amy Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. I just wanted to start by saying thank you to Councilwoman Eastman for joining us at the Windows of Understanding celebration yesterday. I think you can agree with me that hearing from the artists and the nonprofits was truly inspiring. And one of our artists, Ms. Sheila Keith, will be at the Senior Art Show. She has more exhibits coming. I really encourage all of you, if you have not seen the pieces in person, to go and visit each location, including the Rahway Public Library, where we have the student art exhibit from the Rahway High School Arts and AP Arts and National Arts Honor Society students. Their pieces are powerful. I also was at the State of the City, and I was very encouraged to hear about all the new projects on the horizon, and then also that the water utility was not one of those projects on the horizon. And I am a little dismayed to hear that it is still on the table. That's kind of discouraging, but like Lisa said, I hope that you take a long time to have many conversations, and I also am interested to know how you are going to present this information, when, how often, to the people of Rahway, because I think they really need to hear all the details and have their voices heard in a back and forth, and not just in a city council meeting where we only have 5 minutes. It's not the right forum. So where can we have these conversations? I was also encouraged to hear about the senior housing, the affordable senior housing that is being proposed and the ground being broken soon. And I think it's wonderful. We totally need senior housing, but I also encourage you to think about other communities that need affordable housing. The last affordable housing complex that was built was the Willows. That wasn't senior housing, right? That was the Willows, and that was like 10 years ago almost that it opened. So many municipalities, they satisfy their New Jersey Fair Housing Act requirement through senior housing, because people say they don't want affordable housing near them, but we're a different kind of community. And so whether it is by requiring new construction to have a certain amount of affordable housing units, whether it is going back to some of these complexes that are out there, like Riva is gigantic, asking them to provide affordable housing, and just it doesn't have to be like dirt cheap, just something that, somebody coming out of starting their career, or families that want to raise their children here, or just people who want access to transit in a community that's vibrant. We need to give access to those people, and people who live here now, who are starting to not be able to afford to live here. So I hope that you'll think about those things. And one last question, I just was wondering if anybody could give updates on the Glendenning project that's being done. Has it started, or where are people going during the construction? I'd be interested to find out more information about that. Thank you.
Thank you. To my left, please. To my left. Anybody? You may approach. Hi, sir. Name and address?
Yes, sir. Charlie Cradaville. I'm the Central Jersey organizer at Food and Water Watch. We're based at 100 Bayard Street in downtown New Brunswick, New Jersey. And I want to say thank you to the mayor for doing the right thing. Definitely, it's a wise move to welcome more input, more information, more transparency, and to put the brakes on this bad idea of selling the water utility. So I hope that you'll vote for the resolution on that item tonight. I also wanted to ask for some information about the bulk water deal with Merck. If someone in the administration or the council could provide details on what exactly the deal is, I would appreciate that as well. And yeah, I did have some other items to bring up, but is there another public comment period later where I can bring that up, or this is it?
Not tonight, sir.
Oh, okay.
This is your opportunity to.
This is everything.
Yes,
all
sir.
At once. Okay. Well, then I will note that the council did take an executive session at the last meeting. I believe you approved the minutes from that. When you came back, Mr. Mancello noted that it was an executive session to discuss contract negotiations, and I, approached him after the meeting to ask what contract, and was told, something to the effect of, Charlie, I don't answer your questions after the meeting. I don't think that was a professional response. I would like a response to that question. If there was contract negotiations discussed in closed session, I would like to know what contract. And that's all for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. To my right.
Good evening. Jeff Robinson, 244 Stanton Street in Rahway. This meeting, like every public council or committee meeting throughout the state, is being live streamed and or videotaped. It'll be on, just like every other municipality in the state, they have their meetings on YouTube so that citizens can sit down and watch them at their leisure. But there's one big difference between Rahway's videotaped meetings and that of virtually the rest of the whole state of New Jersey. And that is that the public speakers at Rahway's meetings are hidden. They're not seen. I don't know if you're aware of that. In other words, if you're watching a videotape of any council meeting here in Rahway, the camera stays looking at you, the council, and all the city officials. Never once does it look at the speaker or the audience at all. So it's like kind of an eerie type thing. You're watching it, we're looking at you, and you hear this voice out of the darkness. It's like very, very odd. And it's almost, I hate to say it, it's almost dehumanizing of the speakers up here. So a bit curious, I checked, and I looked at videotapes of all the 20 other municipalities in Union County. They all show on their tape the speakers and the audience, and some of them very professional, close up. You could see the speakers. A few towns show it more from an angle in the back, but the council in front could be seen, but they still show the speaker. Rahway's the only one that doesn't do that. And went back in time looking at videotapes, and it appears that the October 2024 meeting was when this stopped in Rahway. In other words, the public couldn't be seen anymore when they're up here speaking. So I'm thinking to myself, was this some sort of technical glitch and nobody ever noticed it? Or was this a deliberate policy decision to just not show the public up here speaking? So, I did check I even checked other cities and towns throughout the state, everywhere from Morristown to Newark, Patterson. They all show the speakers speaking to their city government or town government. Even the Union County Committee shows the speakers talking to them. So my question to you, Mr. Chair of the council and your fellow council members, are you aware that this is the way your meetings are being presented and that Rahway is the only one virtually that I could see in the whole state that does this, that excludes the showing of the people, the residents, when they come up here to speak? And then the other question is, who made this decision and why? And I also should say that when I was looking at viewing council meetings, committee meetings, whatever, from all the other towns throughout the county and in the state, many have, like Rahway, 5 minutes limit on the amount of time the speakers can speak. Some have 3 minutes.
1 minute warning.
Thank you. There's at least 6 towns in Union County that have no limit. Apparently, when it's announced that you can come up to speak, there is nothing said about how much you can speak. So I guess those speakers can get up there for 10 minutes. I don't know. So I don't know what the law is on that, but anyway, I think if you want to understand what I'm talking about, go home and watch a YouTube video of one of the recent council meetings, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I think this should be changed. The people of Rahway deserve to be, shown speaking just like every other town in New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you. To my left. Anyone to my left? To my right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Council President, City Council, members of Rahway residents. Just wanted to say good evening and one more time. My name is Reverend Clyde Dunning, so I came to say, introduce myself to some and say hello to others. I'm relatively new in the community and...
My apologies, Reverend. I'll let you reclaim your time. Can you say your full name and address, please?
Okay, my address, my name is Reverend Clyde Dunning. I live at 1171 Main Street, Rahway, apartment. Okay. But I just came tonight just to kind of express myself. I want to say some things that are on most people's mind, but most people will not say. And one of the things that drove me out of here tonight was the passion that was in my heart by just observing some of the things that are going on today in our society. Most people don't have the nerve to really step up and to examine what is going on throughout our world. As I was walking out the door, I was listening to the escalating reports about the escalating war on Iran and the war which was not approved by Congress, but it was just a war that Donald Trump decided to just take out on his own without any type of oversight or approval. And this has been going on and on and on. I can name the things that have been going on recently, particularly with the violation of the First Amendment rights. I see this new regime that has taken over and trying to dominate America called ICE. And I don't have to itemize the things that we have witnessed that have taken place in our American streets. So the reason why I'm here tonight is because history tells us that when we ignore these type of situations, that it becomes a norm. And one of the most precious gifts that we have here as American citizens is the right of free speech, the right to protest, the right to confront, speak power, truth to power. So one of the things that it shows us that when we ignore it, it becomes the norm. And so I'm here tonight because I want to encourage the community of Rahway, the Union County, the County of Union, every resident. I understand that we all have our differences, but when it comes to the situation, the overall of our country, it is very important, essential that we stand together. So, as pastor of the Sower of Seeds ministry, we plan to engage the upcoming fall in rallies, protests, demonstrations, you name it. We're gonna get the word out leading up to the midterm elections, because the only way that we can eliminate this atrocity in our country is to stand together in unity. And despite our differences, this is the time and the need to stand together, because I know everyone is being affected. I mean, you can't say because of your race or your color, your race or your gender or your class that you're not being affected, because if it's not affecting you now, it will affect you later. So I'm calling for a call of unity to let us tonight commit to protecting a peaceful civic participation.
1 minute warning.
In this city as it applies to rallies, protests, and protests, that you will protect, and let us commit to unity over division. Let us commit to safeguarding our constitutional rights for every resident, and let Rahway be known not as a city that stands silent in uncertain times, but as a city that stands together, where the voices of unity are recognized. So my prayer is that we are backed and protected by the city of Rahway as it comes to applying our First Amendment rights of the Constitution. And I yield at that note. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else?
Hi, Andrew Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. Good evening. A couple of quick things I wanted to ask about. One was the executive session that Charlie mentioned. There are a limited number of reasons that you can go into executive session for ongoing litigation or personnel issues. The executive session you called last week or last month, you specifically said, Jeff, that it was to figure out the timeline, because Joanna had raised some objections to including this in the consent agenda, and that was what you all voted for when you left. After you came back, the lawyer mentioned that it was for a contract negotiation. There was no contract negotiation being talked about right before you left, right when you came back. There was no contract on the table. We all know that that's not what you discussed back there. Discussions about what's on the agenda, your disagreements about them, the timing of them, that's exactly what the Open Public Meetings Act is built for. Those conversations are required to be held in public. Executive session is not so that you can retreat whenever there's a tense moment and discuss it amongst yourselves. That's not what it's for. And you should know that, Jeff. I think you do. The lawyer clearly should know that. But you all should know that, because it's your job to know that. And when you went back into that hallway and discussed whether you should continue to keep this water resolution on the agenda, one of you should have raised your hand and said, wait, this is not an acceptable use of executive session.
Effectively, you had to break the law to pass that resolution last month. So when you tell people about decorum and you threaten to kick people out, first you need to follow the basic law that oversees these meetings. And it's disappointing that you didn't do that, and I hope that that won't happen again. Secondly, regarding the sale of the water utility, I'm a little confused about where we stand and where you all stand. At this point, do you think it's a good idea to sell the water utility? Mayor Giacobbe and the rest of you, do you think that's a good idea, or do you not think that's a good idea at this point? You said during the presentation you spent a year coming up with that proposal, and then you all voted for it. And so I would like you to consider the process that led you to that decision. If you agree now that that was a bad decision, as it seems that everybody I spoke to thought that that was a bad decision, what was the process that led you to that? You met with a bunch of consultants, you hired them, you spent money to listen to them, for them to kick around ideas. What is the problem? What are the recommended solutions? And that's what they came up with. And then that's what you accepted. A couple months ago, before he threatened to punch me in the face, I asked Jeremy Mojica why he thought that everything I was saying about pilots was a lie. And he said, I trust the professionals. I don't listen to you, I trust the professionals. And there's a place for professionals in these conversations. Certainly you should hire consultants and get recommendations, but the system is designed with citizens at the top of the decision-making process. And we rely on you to make sure that those professionals are giving us solutions that are best for citizens, not just good for other professionals. Right? When you are a hammer, everything you see is a nail. When you're a consultant, you find other consultants who can give you solutions for all these different problems. And sometimes those might be the best solutions, sometimes they're not. Frank Ruggiero told us that the library was okay with the cuts that you were making to the library budget for 4 straight years. That turned out to not be the case. The water consultants gave you the idea that this was going to be a solution to all our problems. That's clearly not the case. The same is true in some of these pilot deals. We rely on you to be the sounding board that decides whether those professionals are have the best interest of the citizens or not. That's why you're here. If you're going to just defer to the professionals, why do we need you? We would just hire some professionals. That's why you're here. We need your voice, we need to hear your voices, and we need to know that you are considering everything that comes before you with an open mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Yes, you may.
Good evening, Council. I'm Captain Sean Ganley, the Chief Law Enforcement Officer here at the Rahway Police Department, and I just want to discuss traffic calming within the city to shed some light on what some of the presenters or citizens have addressed this evening. I can assure you, under the direction of Mayor, when I was appointed to this position 3 years ago, one of his priorities was traffic safety throughout the city of Rahway. I can tell you from my office, when I get a complaint, I come here to meet, and I can assure you 100% we take every complaint seriously. We do data-driven studies on it. We send our traffic team to go knock on doors, meet with residents. We sit out, we do track enforcement. We coordinate with our engineering department to look at striping, putting barriers, structures out to ensure everything we can do to make sure safety's paramount for citizen drivers and neighbors, right? Mr. McCray, personally, I've dealt with him. I've sat down, had one-on-one meetings, discussed, offered ride-along, did traffic enforcement many times on Hazelwood, presented numerous traffic studies via email. Every issue Mr. McCray has brought to me, I've personally emailed him after a meeting or shortly after with every piece of information he requested. And that's my job, and I'm going to do that. The residents want me to share that. I'm happy to do so. The mayor's directed me to be forthcoming, and that's what we do. We're transparent, we're giving the information, and we're addressing it the best we can. Is it a county road? Is it a state highway? We'll reach out to those partners for signage. Every day, we're looking at complaints that we deal with effectively, quickly, so we can address it appropriately. Does it take an enormous amount of funding? How do we get that? How do we presented before council where it justifies the need for safety. Safety is paramount. I can assure you from my office under the direction of the mayor that we are doing that effectively, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to approach? Good evening. Happy birthday.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I get 64 days of 64, so there's 63 more days to go. I'm Lisa Vandiver, 254 Oak Street. I first wanted to comment because I've been traveling a lot. My family's on the West Coast, dealing with a mother with dementia, so I'm out there helping out a lot. So I have been watching a lot of the streaming meetings, and this gentleman is correct. It is very, very disconcerting to just have these disemboweled voices out there. And it is a lack of respect to the speakers that they're not actually being depicted as well. I recall that the change happened, coincidentally enough, last October, right around the same time we were having issues, that was 24, issues with the library. And suddenly you went from a sparsely populated room to absolutely packed. So I don't know if that was part of the decision that you wanted to pull back from people seeing a full auditorium. I would encourage you to go back to the other way. Because I'm a disembodied voice to many people, I just want to say that I'm a homeowner since 2004, Volunteer of the Year in 2018. I noticed the other night that there was no Volunteer of the Year announced, so I hope you bring that back for next year. Encourage people to participate and give their service to the community. In other ways, I've also been an active participant in local grassroots politics, organizing demonstrations, fuck whoever. I was also candidate for City Council Ward in Ward 3 in 2024. I am also, as most of you know, spouse to Alan Levy, and I am also co-plaintiff and co-defendant in Levy versus Rahway Community Voice. I don't know why it's not Levy Vandiver. That's a different issue. But I know that Mr. Mancello has instructed you that this has nothing to do with you, and I agree it's a two-part lawsuit. The first part was against Rahway Community Voice. You're not a part of that. We were both kicked off the group at some point. That's neither here nor there. The here nor there part is that in a countersuit, both Alan and I are being sued because we have been admitted critics of the city of Rahway, its mayor, and the law firm of Renaud, Coughlin, and Mancello. So I love Rahway, and I do also criticize it because I love Rahway. Mayor Jacoby knows I'm an active critic, and I know many of you have encountered me online and in social media, so you know the things I've had to say. I do believe that I have a First Amendment right to say them, and it's very disappointing that the city would be using a law firm that would resort to that tactic. So when I was watching last month, I was out in LA watching as this disembodied voice of my husband started talking about Renaud, Coughlin, Mancello, and mentioned pay for play. And I saw Mr. Mancello grab Jeff, I'm sorry, Vice President Brooks, and suddenly it was, you're out of order for bringing up pay for play. So since that is the topic at hand right now, I'm going to explain a little bit about pay for play is. I'm sure most of you are aware of it, but I would like it to be on the record. So pay for play, it's such an odd term as a non-native New Jerseyan, and in the entertainment field that I'm used to, pay for play is very scandalous. You're paying for something and you're getting favors for it. So somehow New Jersey has put this into their system, that's fine. And it's a way to acknowledge corporations have to declare themselves so that their contributions are on the record. So I went back just a couple of years.
1 minute warning.
To the Rahway Democrats 2024. primary amount was 91,200 raised. That was the year I happened to run. I think I had like $400 in my coffer. Donation, Louis Renone, 5,200. Craig Coughlin, 5,200. David Mancello, 5,200. Then in the general, for Montejovska, Parker, Parson, Newberry, Timmons, Brown, and Jablisco, again, Louis Renone, 5,200. Craig Coughlin, 5,200. David Mancello, 5,200. And then this year in the mayor's race for Mayor Jacoby, so far we just have 4 donors. One is Lairs, Vinci, and Blunch. I Googled them, apparently they're an accountant firm. And then once again, Renone, 1667.67. Craig Coughlin, 1667.67.
5 minutes.
David Mancello, 1667.66. So you see
Thank
a
you.
penny there. So just wanted that on the record. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for your time. Anybody else? Anybody to my left? Anybody to my right? Okay. Seeing. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Hope Moran. I live at 1780 St. George's Avenue. I want to thank the mayor and the council for taking the water deal off the table. However, I do believe strongly, and a lot of other people do in Rahway, that the water utility belongs in the hands of the Rahway residents and not in corporate interests. Also, I have some questions about the Merck deal as well. I don't understand why would we be purchasing water from Merck when they've already contaminated our groundwater? Just wondering. That's all.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second to close the public hearing portion
So
of this
moved.
meeting. Newberry.
Second.
Eastman. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes. I'm going to allow Mr. Lindolf, you have a comment you'd like to make?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. A few of the issues that came up this evening, I have knowledge of, and I would like to respond to.
You have to push the button.
Let me go, not necessarily in reverse order, but let me hit that last comment. We are not we are not purchasing water from Merck. We are selling water to Merck. And because they are our largest consumer of water, and this is a common practice, we've entered into in effect, what is a bulk purchase agreement with them. That was renewal of a prior agreement that we had with Merck. So it existed for an extended period of time before this. And what this really does is it sets forth terms for Merck to purchase water from us. So we are not in the business of buying water from Merck.
Yes, thank you for making everyone aware. We're aware, but I do appreciate you clarifying that.
Let me hit a couple issues. Timetable for Estherbrook, and I apologize, I didn't catch the resident's name who asked that question. It is, as I said before, slated for closing, financial closing this week. Should be under construction within the next 60 days. It has a projected completion date of 6/27, June 27. And the rental period should start immediately after that. Perhaps if you could come up, again, I apologize, I missed the name, and give us your name. We are going to go through a process with the developer of making our residents aware of what the process will be to apply for one of those units. There are guidelines that are established through the HMFA, et cetera, but we are going to have a concerted effort to make our residents aware of what the process is, how they can apply, and what the timing and nature of that will be. So if you give us your name, we'll make sure that when that outreach commences, we'll do that. Update on Glendenning, it's phase 1 is under construction. It broke ground in November. I don't have a completion date, but upon completion, the plan there is, upon completion of Phase 1, the plan is to immediately move to Phase 2. It is only a two-phase project, so once Phase 1 is completed, residents are moved in. The Phase 2 units will be demolished and construction will immediately commence. So that is well into the process. There was, I think, a misstatement or an implication about how we address our fair share housing needs. And there's, I think, one really important point to make, and it's a result of a comment that was made. Well, other communities do such and such to address their fair share needs. Very important, and I know all council knows this, so this is really for the public. The city of Rahway does not have an obligation under the latest fair share round. So, and has not for an extended period of time. So we have zero obligation, what they call prospective need. So we don't have a requirement to construct new units.
So
that,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Would that mean we meet a standard?
yes.
We already meet a standard.
We already meet the standard. In fact, and there is what they call rehabilitation need. And we have a rehabilitation need. We far exceed that standard. Far exceed it. Glendenning, we're not just doing a rehabilitation there. The mayor set out on a mission to completely reconstruct, revitalize, and transform that neighborhood. That's what we're doing. That's part of what we will count towards our rehabilitation.
For those current residents as well, sir, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, Council President, all the current residents will have the opportunity to reoccupy those units. Even though we don't have a need to do new construction, Esterbrook is being constructed. We just talked about it. So we far exceed any need. We have no perspective.
This new construction is good too, by the way, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
some people don't like new construction, but this is
construction
good.
is good.
We agree. Okay.
So we are in compliance. We are far in excess of compliance. And I think it's important that our residents understand that. The last thing I want to hit on is, and again, you know this, but for the public, and that's just to talk for a moment about the action that you took last week or to authorize bids, and then the action you took this evening to cancel the receipt of those bids. We were not authorizing, you were not authorizing the sale of the water utility last meeting. What you were doing, in effect, not in effect, in actuality, was authorizing the receipt of bids. What, in effect, that was doing was placing a value, a monetary value, on the water system. It was not obligating council, the city, in any way whatsoever to proceed with the sale. What it was doing was asking water companies to, in effect, provide a valuation of what they thought the system value would be, what it would be worth. And that would give you consultants, certainly the mayor and his staff, the opportunity to make a value judgment there. And there was no preconceived notion. That was not a plan to sell the water system, the water utility. That was merely a resolution authorizing bids to permit us to gather information in the form of a financial offer from various private water companies that could facilitate a conversation.
So essentially, I could offer to purchase the water system for $20, and you could say no because it's not. It's worth more than $20.
Correct. Correct. There was no preconceived notion there, and there isn't at this point in time. There are issues with the water utility. There are financial issues going forward. There's operating concerns going forward. There's source of water issues going forward. Those issues need to be addressed. Nobody's going to run from them. We're going to have a lot of dialogue about it. But I think we need to dispel the notion that there was a preconceived plan there to sell the utility. That is not the case. There was a request from council to go out on bid to provide us with financial, in effect, to provide us with financial information that we could then analyze and utilize to help us formulate a plan going forward.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity, Mr. Landolfi. Sir, would you like to also comment?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to quickly respond. I know I've said this in prior meetings to Council, and I thank you for your patience. I've said I'm not going to talk about Mr. Levy's lawsuit again, but Mr. Levy has made comments this evening that I believe require some response. Mr. Levy has said this evening that he's being sued for criticizing the mayor. That is patently false. Okay. As Mr. Levy said, which was accurate, he said that he had sued the Rahway Voice for being removed from this private Facebook page. Has nothing to do with the city, has nothing to do with the mayor, any member of council. He was countersued by Rahway Voice for what's called abuse of process. If you attempt to use litigation not for its intended purpose, you are susceptible to a counterclaim of abuse of process. And in the claim of abuse of process, one of the factual predicates which my law firm relied upon was the fact that he is a known critic of the city of Rahway. Okay, it's not the basis of the lawsuit, it's just an underlying fact that was used. So if you look at the claim itself, it's for abuse of process. So for Mr. Levy to come up and say that, he knows that the case is for abuse of process, but he continually refers to it as being a critic of, that he's being sued for being a critic of the mayor, which is not the case. He moved to dismiss that claim, and the judge denied his request to dismiss the claim, and the case proceeds. So if it lacked any merit whatsoever, it would have been thrown out by the court. It was not. Thank you.
Marcello, could you comment on one more time about the time limits?
Certainly.
Yes.
Thank you, Council President. I believe also I've touched on this previously. Every governing body in the state gets to set their own time frame for minutes for speakers. So I think as one of the speakers rightly mentioned, some municipalities have a 3-minute requirement. Here in the city of Rahway, there's a 5-minute requirement. That is a rule that you set as a governing body, and it is to be strictly enforced by your presiding officer, which is your council president. It is a content-neutral regulation, and my only recommendation is that it be uniformly applied to all speakers, which has been done in the city of Rahway. Hope that answers your question. Thank you.
It certainly does. I do appreciate clarity. Ms. Capone, would you please read Ordinance O-09-26 by title?
An ordinance amending Chapter 141 Animals, Section 141-25 Community Cats to allow the health officer to approve of community cat caregivers.
Do any council members have any questions or comments? May I have a mover and a second for Ordinance O-09-26?
I make movement to accept this ordinance.
Miles?
A second.
Montez de Oca. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica?
Yes.
Montes de Oca?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes. Ms. Capone, please read Ordinance O-10-26 by title, please.
An ordinance amending Chapter 401, Article 1, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 3, Violations and Penalties of the Code of the City of Rahway.
Do any of my council colleagues have any questions or comments? May I have a mover and a second to introduce Ordinance O-10-26?
I make the move to accept O-10-1126.
Thank you, Mojica.
I'll second.
Eastman, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica?
Yes.
Montes de Oca?
Yes.
Newberry? Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes. Ms. Capone, please read Ordinance O-11-26 by title.
A bond ordinance providing for streetscape improvements by and in the city of Rahway in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $400,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $380,952 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Do any council members have any questions or comments? May I have a mover and a second for Ordinance O-11-26?
President.
What?
Councilman Brown, you have a,
Yes,
you're moving.
yes.
Brown? Second?
Second.
Eastman. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco? Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes.
Ordinances 9-26 through 11-26 are deemed adopted on first reading and will come up for public hearing and final adoption on April 6, 2026 at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Capone. Resolutions AR-72-26 through AR-94-26 will be adopted as one motion on consent agenda. Do any council members wish to remove a resolution from this consent agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt, in a second, to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Newberry.
Second.
Yes, Jablisco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes. Next is ordinance on second reading. Ms. Capone, please read the title for ordinance O-7-26.
An ordinance amending Chapter 177, Construction Codes Uniform of the Code of the City of Rahway.
At this time, I will open this up to the public hearing for ordinance O-7-26. You have 5 minutes to speak, and you may only speak once on this ordinance. Please direct all comments to City Council. Ms. Capone, has anyone signed up to speak?
No one has signed up.
Is there anyone in my, okay, so seeing none, I would like to close the public hearing. Does any council members have any comments on this ordinance? Okay. I need a motion and a second to adopt ordinance O-7-26.
So moved.
Newberry. One more time.
Second.
Montestioka. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown? Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes. Ms. Capone, please read the title for ordinance O-8-26.
An ordinance amending land use legislation, Chapter 421 zoning, to modify signage regulations for Class 5 cannabis licensed retail businesses in the city of Rahway.
At this time, I will open the public hearing for ordinance O-8-26. You will have 5 minutes to speak, and you may only speak once. Please direct all comments to City Council. Ms. Capone, has anybody signed up for this?
No one has signed up.
Thank you. Is there anybody who would like to have a comment on this particular ordinance? Seeing none, I would like to close the public hearing. Do any of my council colleagues have any comments on this particular ordinance? All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt ordinance O-8-26.
So moved.
Second.
We got Newberry, Miles. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown? Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles? Mohica?
No.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parson is absent. Brooks?
Yes. All right, so we got some miscellaneous unfinished business. We got a block party permit, BP-26-01 for the Liberty Harley-Davidson 27th Annual Toy Run Benefit. Street closures on Broad Street to Clinton Place and Clinton Place to Georgia Street. The event date would be proposed for November the 8th, 2026. I need a motion this second to adopt the block party for BP-26-01.
So moved.
Second.
Newberry, Eastman. Do any council members have any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman?
Yes.
Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica?
Yes.
Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry?
Yes.
Parsons absent. Brooks?
Yes. All right. Are there any of my council colleagues that would like to make any closing comments? I'm going to kick it over to my friend on the far right, but not on the far right. He's not on the far right, but he's to my right. Councilman Montestioka.
Thank you, Council President. Definitely not far right. Thank you very much for everybody that came in tonight. Again, everybody's thoughts and concerns are always welcome and heard up here with us. We do take everything into hand that you residents do say to us. So please always keep that in mind. We do like, whether it's negative or positive, for you to share what you have to say with us. Basically, outside of that, it's just Happy Women's History Month. Again, thank you for our mayor for a great state of the city. For all our DPW workers out there, thank you very much for all the snow. It's been very hectic, horrible out there. You guys did an awesome job. I think our second storm, even though it hit harder, you guys got it a little bit better than the first one, so that was great. Thank you very much for that. Don't want to take much of your time, but thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. We got Second Ward Councilwoman, Ms. Darlene Eastman.
Okay, I just want to congratulate all the firemen on their appointments and their promotions tonight. I also want to reiterate that I did go to the Windows of Understanding, and the artists there, it was wonderful, a wonderful event, and the artists did a great job. And I would actually, if anybody has a chance to go by and look at their displays, they're at Holy Cow, El Forno, Waiting Room, United Way, and Rahway Public Library. And also, again, I'd like to thank DPW for their work on the snowstorm, and the police and the firemen for everything that they do. And just thank everyone for coming out. And we all, do listen to everything that you have to say, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
The legend himself, 4-4 Councilman Dave Brown. Do you have anything to say tonight?
A few things I'd like to say, really. With the mayor's address, I think it was very well put on what we're trying to do in the city. One of the biggest things that you find is talk, but then it's doing that makes a difference. And you can see in our city, we're making a difference. Sometimes I don't want to say, is the Fourth Ward doing well? I think what it says is that we listen, or I listen to the residents of the Fourth Ward and say, what's going on, what can we do? And we're doing some good things. I wanted to say to the Board of Health Department, I'm looking forward to working with you in our gardening program that they're interested in doing. You'll probably find out what we will be doing of growing vegetables. One of the biggest things that we have now is at the First Presbyterian Church. We're going to be doing some gardening there. I'd like to say to the DPW with the snow removal, you did a good job. Now, I've been ill for quite some time, right, of shoveling the snow. And what happened at my house, I was directed to not shovel, right? I have a daughter, Jamie. She did an excellent job for shoveling the snow. I mean, she really did a good job. Now, if I had to tell you about the work that she did cleared off the snow, cleared off of her car, and did an excellent job. And when I say the other part is that, I'm a widow and my wife passed away. I don't know what my wife would have said, about the job that she did, because she's very particular. And everything was done. My windshield was done. I could just go out and get into the car and leave. That was good. Now, to the serious side, today I had the opportunity to go to the high school for Black History Month. And there with the people that came out to speak, Ms. Chambliss and Palmer came out to speak, and it was very nice. But what I'd like to say to Mr. Bunyan is that we should have something like that again, to whereas not just once when it comes to Black History Month, to when it comes again to tell students, what can be done. I have an opportunity to say this. In the county at Keene University, they're looking for people, students, whatever, to come and get involved with their school. I know Baker, that was a councilman with us. He's a commissioner in the county, and we're going to put that together so that can be done. We also did a voters registration drive at the high school, which it says again, people should get out to vote. That's an opportunity that they have to express themselves. The other part that I want to know, another part is this. The pastor, is he at 1171? Okay, I'd like to get his name. And if the pastor's still here, he's still here? All right, good. When we finish, I'd like to speak with you, okay? We'd like to do that. The other part is at the Brom Hill Road. They're going to be doing that with Woodbridge as a shared project, working together. I'm telling you, if they continue to do what they did on Randolph Avenue, it certainly was a nice job that they did. But again, it's saying when people work together, you can get something done in a quick way. And I'd like to say, with the women's month, thank you for that. I'm going to look forward to doing something for the women, especially my sister that passed away. Yes. You know? Yes. The legend. Well, you know, like it says again, my family's been here for quite some time.
Into the mic, Dave. You have to hold the mic down.
Thank you, sir. Fifth Ward Council Member Danny Newberry.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to take a moment to congratulate the firefighters that were promoted earlier this evening. Congratulations, and thank you for keeping our properties and our people in the city of Rahway protected. And I want to take a moment and acknowledge our Chief of Police, of Fire. Chief Roberts, you are an incredible leader, and thank you for your leadership and your guidance. It really means a lot to the City Council, I know to the mayor and his administration, but you're bringing up a class of firefighters who are first rate. So thank you so much.
Yes. Much deserved. Yes, yes, yes. Sixth Ward Councilman, Joe
Yes.
Jablisco.
Yes, I would like to special thanks to our mayor for a great job at the state of Rahway. Excellent job, Ray. Also, I want to thank, I also want to congratulate the firemen who has graduated and the ones that have been promoted. The last thing I want to talk about is about the lawyer who spoke about the amendment. And I didn't like it, but it was very offensive to a lot of people, I think, talking like that out loud. We don't need that in here. I wish you can tone it down a little bit or something. Even though it's illegal, you can say what you want, but in this place, we don't want that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman at Large,
I think everyone
Joanna Miles.
Everyone said everything, but I will echo some of my council members' words as well. I do want to congratulate the fire department. We're very, very fortunate to have a fire department in our town. It makes a difference. It really makes a huge difference than having a fire department that has to come into the town. And it absolutely saves lives. I also have to, I'm going to say this because the fire department, of course, is amazing. And when I first came on council with Jeremy, and I think met the mayor as well at that time, the fire department treated us to a live burn. Which meant that they kitted us up in all the firemen's garb, and they put us inside a burning building and set it on fire. So I have to say that they will always have my utmost support. I could never in a million years do that job. You put yourselves on the line, and for that I'm truly, truly grateful, and I'm super, super thankful. I won't leave the police department out, and they also sent us to the academy and had us do something up there, which was really cool too. That was all I wanted to say, and of course the state of the city was fantastic. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. My council vice president, Mr. Jeremy Mojica.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today and voicing your concerns. It is truly wonderful when you can do that in such a wonderful country like what we have today. So I just want to thank the mayor on a wonderful, wonderful state of the city. Every year it just gets more and more exciting. I had a few people that came out to the meeting who weren't from Rahway, and they had a chance to buy a house years ago here in the city, and they're like, man, I regret it. I regret it. There's a lot going on in your city that's not going on in mine, and I'm jealous. And I said, well, that's too bad. You know, it is what it is. Too bad for you. You missed out. But I want to thank DPW for a great job. You know, hopefully we won't be getting any more snowstorms coming in. You know, knock on wood, Formica, plastic, whatever you got. But I'm hoping that we're in the clear, and wonderful job again. If you see your fellow DPW workers out there, please thank them from the bottom of your hearts. Also, a department that needs a lot of thanking is the fire department. I mean, I was talking to the chief before the meeting. He said this year's been unprecedented with the number of fires and the losses that we've had. And, you know, as well trained as they are, they're human beings as well, and they hurt. It's difficult for them. They take it personal when they lose someone out there, for sure. And I want to thank them for the sacrifices that they make and putting their hearts out there to put these fires out for us and keeping our citizens safe. Thank you. And again, those are the individuals that if you see out there, thank them as well. Just like our police department, thank them as well for coming out here, putting themselves on the line every single day, showing up to work, making it right. Congratulations to the newly appointed firefighters, and of course to the promotions. Great guys in regards to the promotions. The new firefighters, I trust they're going to be incredible as well. I mean, obviously, we've got some great stock in the city, and we keep doing it. So you guys raise the bar, and whoever joins you new has to reach those expectations as well. So that's great as well. And well, what do I have next here? Oh yeah, happy St. Paddy's Day to everyone who celebrates. Just be very careful out there, right? If you're going to do some drinking, there's a lot of other methods that you could use to get home. You know, I'm not promoting Uber, but use it, you know. And keep our streets safe. Our police department's busy as it is. We don't want to give them anything else to worry about, okay? With that, I turn it over to our Council President, Jeff Brooks, who's done a great job today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Council Vice President. And listen, I did want to start. I did want to close on saying everything you mentioned about our fire department and our chief. Just want to send, on behalf of the council, our condolences to the life that was lost and their family. Again, you know, you guys see it up close. You risk your lives every time you run into when people run out of a burning building, you guys are running towards the danger. That's something that we don't take for granted here. I hope you guys feel the support. You know that you guys are putting it all on the line and putting your best effort and best foot forward. So we truly do appreciate everything that you've done. And, you know, to your department, keep your head up. You got some great guys, and, you know, you guys are doing everything you can to stay ahead of the curve and make sure that we're supporting you guys with the newest equipment and, you know, and the proper training to make sure you guys stay safe yourselves. So thank you so much. As we close tonight, I want to extend a very warm welcome to all of our Muslim residents and my Muslim family in the holy month of Ramadan Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum. Yes. May this sacrifice, the sacred time, be filled with reflection. I know so many people are fasting, not just the Muslim community, but also our Christian community. It was a very unique time where you had Lent and you had Ramadan starting on the same day, the same Wednesday. So hopefully great things happen in the world. It's been a rough time. You know, obviously, you know, there's war going on right now. And, you know, we pray for our troops. We pray for all the lives lost from all over the planet because it's just not a good thing. Shout out to the DPW. I know, for me at least, I was very encouraged to see so many people get out there, our neighbors, you know, team up, you know, between our snow blowers and our shovels to try to shovel the streets. And I was out there for about 2 hours. And I felt the impact of my hard work out there on maybe shoveling out 3 or 4 homes for at least 4 or 5 days. The fact that many of our DPW individuals, our workers, are out there 12, 16-hour days. and they're not just plowing trucks. You know, they're out there, they're shoveling sidewalks, they're doing a lot of hard work. So I know not everybody understands the extent of the work, but we certainly do appreciate it. And I would say that most people appreciate the hard work that you guys put out. So again, thank you for doing that. I want to take this time to shout out one of our most storied residents. Her name is, many of you know her, Bernice Young. Bernice Young is one of our elders. She is highly respected, and I just want to give her flowers, her props for being as persistent as she is. It was her persistence and her reaching out to the Rahway Recreation Department that helped get the Crazy Faith Riders program up and running. She worked great with our recreation director, and I'm not sure if she got the proper credit, but I know the Recreation Department recognizes her contribution, and we truly appreciate her showing up like the way she does. So thank you to Miss Young. I also want to say, Mayor, great job with the State of the City. I think that you did an awesome job highlighting just what is done in the course of a year. It's day by day with our staff, with our department heads, collaboration with volunteers and nonprofit organizations, civic organizations, churches. That was the result of that, and those are just the highlights. And like you said, if you did more, you know, you would have been there. It was a long speech, by the way, Mayor. You were up there for a while, but you know, to your credit, it could have been longer. But that's all because of the hard work of not just the mayor, but so many individuals. So great job highlighting many of the wins. I think that it was great, and it was great for the people to see that as well, because you know, a lot of times we just get things in the snapshot. I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to talk too long. I'm already filling up too much time. It was a very successful Black History Month. I do want to remind everybody that the word boy generally means a male child, a young human male, typically from birth through adolescence. For example, this boy is starting middle school next year. A young man is sometimes used for someone in their teens or early adulthood, depending on the context. I don't have to remind anybody, but historically in the United States and elsewhere, the term boy has been used in a demeaning and a racist way towards black men, particularly during segregation in the Jim Crow era, but sometimes you'll hear people say it out here. I don't think it's fair to throw around that term loosely or refer to adult males as boys. And I typically don't get involved in the back and forth with insults, but I think it's very important to clarify that that wasn't appropriate at all. And, of course, if you want to reach out to your council members, our phone numbers are public. We don't put any timeline or time limits on those conversations. Lastly, I want to close by saying thank you to the city. We are going to be doing an expungement clinic in partnership with Planibus, in partnership with the Rahway Community Action Organization, and in partnership with the Blaze Law Firm. I think it's an effort that not only gives people who have paid a debt to society a second chance, but it gives the families a second chance at the American dream. You know, for context, when you speak about black and brown communities, there's also a lot of talk that our communities underachieve academically. But I would beg to say that if you fail to properly feed and give the nourishment to individuals from those households to any other ethnic group, they wouldn't perform as well. And what the expungement clinics do is it allows people to pursue housing that they may have not been able to pursue because they've been priced out, because they can no longer get a job. They can't move into certain areas. This is an opportunity to give people a clean slate. You know, I work as liaison for the law for the police department. I think it's appropriate to see both sides of the law, and I think in Rahway we see it that way. It's not just about enforcement. It's about providing a pathway and opportunity for all of individuals. So I want to say thank you again. Thank you to the individuals who came out here tonight to voice your opinions. And with that said, I'm going to make ask for a motion in a second to close.
I make a motion to close.
Miles?
I second.
Eastman? All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.